I read a lot. There were always contests at the library in the summer where, if you read 10 books, you got a little gold star. If you read 20, you got like 2. And there were like 5 or 6 girls and I that would always read like 35 books, and we'd see, who could do the most. It was a broad set of things. Eventually, a fair bit of science fiction, because that intrigued me. Some biographies, understanding what different leaders had done and how they'd picked what they'd wanted to do. And so I'd say science fiction and biography were the categories that had the most impact. Yeah, among the science fiction things, Williams Rice Burroughs wrote a Martian series, and I read that. Then he also had the Tarzan books, and there's an unbelievable number of them, like 40 of them, and I eventually decided to read those as well. I didn't actually read Catcher in the Rye until I was 13, and ever since then, I've said that's my favorite book. It's very clever. It acknowledges that young people are a little confused, but it can be smart about things and see things that adults don't really see. So I've always loved it. My second favorite book is the book by John Knowles called A Separate Peace. And that's a phenomenal book. I've been reading it to my son recently. There's actually a movie made of it that's fairly good, but I'd say the book is incredibly good. That's 2 young boys growing up. One who is sort of intentionally trying to be good at things, and the other, Eugene, is just kind of naturally great at sports and has this wonderful energy, and they have this great friendship. And it happens to be at a time where the older boys are going off to war, and they're trying to figure out what does that mean to them. And the author talks about this period of his life as really defining the rest of his life, how he sees everything, is sort of in comparison to this period where he didn't really know where he fit in. He thought of himself as maybe too calculating. And the end of the book, which I won't spoil, is a bit of a tragedy with this friend of his. But it really talks a lot about what is our bargain with the world, how do we grow up, what are we worried about, and how do we take that into adulthood.